the ground and creating, while building, living, thinking, healing, loving, loving, building, writing, while black.
I just read my first Donald Goines, or is it Goines, or but I'm from Detroit. Is the Boozy tour? Do y'all go through Detroit? You coming to Detroit?
We're planning on it.
Okay. Because everything is in Detroit.
I'll be in Detroit August 23rd for the ICU event as the podcaster.
Oh, what's the ICU event? Help me out, girl. Help a sister out. I don't know nothing.
ICU powered by Brave by AA Lewis. They are having an event in Detroit, Michigan, August 23rd. Brent Massey is going to be there. Beverly Jenkins is going to be there. Tessa Stone is going to be a lot. Jaquel J. A lot of different authors that are going to be there, and they're having like a celebration of books. And it's like a 2-day event. It's the 24th and the 23rd. But yeah, it's going to be in Detroit, Michigan at the ballpark area, something. I don't know.
I know, Ayoka, you had a bunch of questions. I still have a couple more, but if you want to jump in,
Well, one thing I was going to say about overlooked genres being overlooked, and you know how I feel about the genre thing anyway, because most things are really multi-genre anyway. And the other thing I was going to say was women's fiction. Like my novel, people called it romance, but I pushed back on that because that was too narrow for what it truly is. So I started describing it as a love story just because it talks about all kinds of love, a Black love story. But I also call it women's fiction because it's a journey of a woman, right?
Yeah.
And everything that happens in her life's journey. But women's fiction, I don't usually see our books in women's fiction. It's very white.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, and I think a lot of books, because that's as simple as it is. It's women's fiction is when it focuses on a woman's journey. Simple as that. Think of how many books you've read that would fit into that, So the whole genre game, I'm just now as an author, you do have to kind of know the definitions of existing genres, if you will, if only to know how to describe your book to people. Because some people, that is their understanding of per genre. And that's how I knew my book wasn't romance. You hear that there's some romance in it and it's a romance, but that's not, quite true. There are a lot of other books that I've read. I'm like, I wouldn't call this romance, but I think it just is a way for people, to market themselves because they don't know. But I think when you do that, it's very limiting because everybody isn't. When you put yourself in a box, you're missing out on potential readers, potential audience, because people think they know what they like, which a lot of times we don't even know that. We think we don't like something, and then we stumble upon something like, oh, okay, I'm really digging this. Like mystery. I like mystery. I didn't know I liked mystery. Who knew? Because I'm thinking Clue. I'm like, whatever. But
I think that Amazon has everybody trying to scramble to get a genre. Amazon, and I blame Amazon for that. I honestly do. I think Amazon has everybody scrambling to get a genre because without it, you can't get your page turns. And it's not like Amazon is reporting to the New York Times bestselling list or the USA Today list. So therefore, they don't even count towards that, even though it would be nice if they did. So a lot more indie authors can be on those lists. But I feel like we're at the stage where it's all about commerce and money. It's not about just the books anymore. And nothing wrong with that, because I want y'all to get your coin. I want y'all to get your coin.
Well, I mean, yeah, not everybody. I wanted to write a story for my folk.
Yeah.
And that was it. If other things happen as a result, then that's icing on the cake. I guess I'm not an Amazon fan, so I never got caught up in that race, being the top in this genre and that sort of thing. Page turns, I'm not yet, and probably because one, I hadn't planned on being an author. It just kind of happened. And two, I was writing truly because I am a writer. Yeah. And I enjoy writing. And so whatever else happened, well, look at that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was a toucan. I'm like, ooh. Okay. Pay attention, Ayoka.
Jungle life, girl, jungle life.
Yeah. So I think for especially indie authors, but Black authors in general, don't get caught up in that genre game. Or the money game for that matter. Because I think I truly think when you focus on the writing and focus on telling your stories, the rest of it is gonna shake out. The rest of it is gonna work out. Don't. That's why when people I don't know if it's still as bad as it was, but when people get caught up in following trends, like writing to the market or whatever, I'm like, are you really? I'm like, are you really a writer? I said it.
Right.
I said it because
I ain't even gonna even get into it because I said it.
Tell your story.
Yeah.
Whatever stories live in you, that's what you need to be telling. Because if you're writing to a market or a trend, that means it's about 1,000 others out there already and 1,000 others coming behind you. You're gonna get found in that ocean.
I just got to telling an author friend of mine, like, I think I'm romance out because everybody is on this trend of writing certain things in the romance books that it's starting to sound repetitive. So I was like, I'm gonna go back to what I know, paranormal, supernatural, because y'all don't.
But you know what? It's because they write into an equation. I didn't even know there was an equation until I learned that later. Like, they're writing to this romance equation of how a romance story is supposed to happen. Now, there's some people who don't do that. They'll write they want to write a romance, but they're going to write it however they see fit and whatever. Yeah. I know they have to have a happily ever after to be a romance. Okay.
Theoretically.
Yes. I can get with that, but it can be happily ever after at the moment.
They kind of happily for now, but I feel like all of that genre stuff, all of that chasing money, all of that chasing trends is like white people stuff to me. I feel like when we get too far off into their world and their way of doing things, it's never going to serve us, and it's not going to serve us deeply. So it may seem to serve you for a moment, but it's not for us. We need to stick to being true to who we are and moving in the world the way that we move, and being us, So I wanna go back to something that you wrote, Storm, from your from the job form that we got. There was some language that you used that related to us owning our narratives, and I've kind of translated it as Black us owning our narratives, and it kind of caught my attention because Doaya Media, the publishing company I'm involved with, a major part of it, and maybe the whole thing, is us, Black us, controlling our narratives, because we have to tell us who we are. We have to tell our stories to ourselves. We exist in this system where there's so much motivation for other people or others to tell us who we are and to control. But I was curious about kind of what that means to you. What does it mean for us to own our narratives? And is that different from us controlling our narratives?
It's definitely different.
Okay.
Owning the narrative is understanding where you come from. Like, our ancestors may have came from Africa, but we've been here a long time. And when we cater to, what's the word I'm looking for? When we cater to a white fallacy of lifestyle, we forget that we are who we are. The struggle, the pain, the fight. The black dollar runs this country. And we don't own that. We accept what we get. And I'm not saying that's for everyone. We accept to be a certain type of way because that's the code switch that we're used to doing. So if we're going to own our stories, back in the day, there was storytelling. That's how the stories were passed along. Or they were written in recipe books. That's how the story was passed along. We lost the plot of the story. Now is I'm trying to be like this celebrity, this fashion house, this nothing that has to do with the culture at all. We lost the plot of how important black hair is, how important singing, music, just everything. We just lost the plot. So to gain the plot back, we got to start owning it. When we start appreciating where we come from, we can move forward where we're going. A lot of people ain't there yet. And a lot of times they don't want to be there yet because they see the opportunities in being closer to white than black, closer to any other race but black. But they lost the plot because when you're closer to your village, you're stronger. My grandma used to always say that this village right here, I gave birth to it. We are strong together. And she especially said that to the women in our family, black women in our family. She's like, because y'all going to carry that legacy. She's like, the men are here, but the women are the strength. And a lot of times we lose the plot of that village. And it goes that way with literacy. We had stories that was long ago, from slaves. A lot of people don't believe that in those Bibles that those white people gave the slaves, they wrote down a lot of things in those Bibles. And they passed it on to a family member, passed it on to family, passed stories. A lot of people don't have Bibles like that anymore. I'm fortunate to have a book of recipes that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. A lot of people don't know their own ancestors. All they want to do is DNA tests to say where I came from in Africa, but they don't even know what happened here. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate, and people don't want to know because that was so long ago. I don't want no parts of that. But it matters because it's a reflection of our stories. So when I was like talking about urban fiction, there's a lot of people that live in those type of environments and then seen a lot of stuff that's in those street lit and urban fiction books. Whereas people coming in and be like, oh, this is just fiction. And I can read that book and be like, shit, I just saw that the other day. When I read contemporary romance, I done seen love stories like that. A lot of people think that Black people cannot own their love, their bodily autonomy, their spirituality, their commerce, everything. And the only way to prove them wrong is to own it ourselves. So
One thing I do want to say about when you were talking about owning the narrative, I want to add to that, and I'm sure I just want to say it out loud. Now, it's not just the pain and the struggle, the joy and the resiliency and the creativity that we have, especially as generations that came from enslaved people and had to make it work and do it and find joy, within our families and within our love and all of the things to make sure we made it here now. If they didn't do that, if they didn't find that joy and innovation and all of those things, that brilliance, we wouldn't have, well, hell, that place called America wouldn't be what it is for that man to tear it down, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But I just wanted to, because I feel like sometimes there are writers that get steeped in the pain and the struggle, and don't balance it with the good stuff. We're not only the things that happened to us.
But see, that's and I agree with that and disagree with that. I agree that there is a lot of authors that do that. I disagree in the sense, and this is something I had to learn as well. You have a lot of people online that talks about struggle love only for the Black community. We're the only ones that struggle. That's
Right.
That's their thing. And I have come to say there's not a such thing as struggle love or struggle situations, because everybody across the board, no matter what color they are, struggles. It only becomes a thing when Black people do it. And so I feel like those authors are writing for the experience that they are experiencing. A lot of authors that I've talked to that write like urban fiction or street lit adjacent type books is because they've been around or they are in that situation or lived that life. I'll take, for instance, author LaToya Nicole. She writes urban fiction, but she writes it from the lens of her life. And people don't even realize that half of the stories are her life, but she writes it in a urban fiction setting. Sometimes people will take that and be like, oh, see, that's all they write is struggle. But you can't say that, because even though I hate
I wasn't saying that.
Oh, not you.
Because,
I'm not talking about you.
Yeah,
I'm saying in general.
I mean, I'm just saying, I feel like there are people who, and it may not be a lot, but I'm just speaking to Black authors. I feel like there are people who stay there. It's one thing when you're writing your experience, but when I feel like when we don't
Evolve.
show that, well, even within the story, show the vulnerable beauty,
the balance
in that, that we don't tell the full story, don't tell the fullness of that story,
But you got to think, some people haven't reached the full story yet. Some people aren't there yet, you know what I'm saying? And the people who aren't there yet usually gravitate to the people that write about that. The people who are looking for the whole picture and balance of love and joy and overcoming and stuff like that, they find those. And that's why I think that's the balance of it. The people who need that story, they find that. The people who find the balance, they find that. And sometimes those people who are still over here wind up coming over here because now they've evolved to this way of thinking, but I think every aspect is needed. Yeah, some need to tone it down a little bit because they go overboard with it, like a whole lot. But I haven't seen anybody as bad as like Colleen Hoover. That white author.
I won't read it. I won't read her.
Yeah.
I haven't read her yet.
I don't. Yeah, I haven't.
But I haven't seen anybody as bad as that, as her, the rape and the all that craziness, you know. But I have seen authors that stay in the trauma, like they can't get out of it. But once again, I said they're probably not there yet.
Right. And I feel like as artists, we have to, well, as artists, we expose who we are and we expose where we are, and that's just real. And sometimes we be deep in the pain, sometimes we be in the joy, sometimes we be trying to not like, oh well, that's black on black crime, like that struggle love. We're trying, like, we're human beings going through a whole bunch of stuff, and it shows up in our work.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like you can find that balance sometimes, just like you, like, I'm not reading no more romance right now. I'm about to read some paranormal. Sometimes as readers, we got to balance it out for ourselves, because every author can't give us everything all the time. But I just wanted to say, this is back a while ago, but when you were talking about what I heard, I was thinking about family Bibles with births recorded and deaths and weddings and scriptures highlighted. And I have one of my grandmama's books here. It's like a book of quotes, that where, you know, some of her notes are in it and stuff. And it's so precious, you know, to me. Those things are so precious. So I know that I'm not really saying anything other than, oh, like when you were talking about the family Bibles. Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, yeah, that's, you know, yeah.
So, Storm, would you say that paranormal is your favorite genre?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
Absolutely. It could be a happily ever after. It don't have to be I don't care. And I just love paranormal.
Have you read Indy Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
My favorite story for her is her Osiris and Iris story, Isis story. I love that story so much. And her Goldilocks and the Three Bears story.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was just curious. Let me ask you, you've kind of answered it, but I want to ask directly. What does writing while Black mean to you?
Everything. Everything. You know, writing while Black means that the sole focus is on Black. It's the sole focus is, like he was talking about, the joy, the together, the pain, the imaginative, creative, the mythos, it's everything. It's everything. It's a living, breathing entity within the world. That's what writing while Black means to me. It is its own entity within us.
Is that how you would describe the Black storytelling pen?
Yes.
Okay, right. That's what I was thinking. That's what it sounded like. Okay, yeah.
Okay. One thing I saw that you talked about was well, two things I want to talk about. You talked about erotica was one of the genres that you felt like got pushed to the side, or they talk about that a little bit.
Well, a lot of people know I'm a dom. I'm in the BDSM lifestyle. So, I've been a dom. Yeah, I've been a dom since I was like 21. I'm 46 now. So I've been a dom for a long ass time. But when it comes to eroticism, the Black body has never been seen sexy. It's always been a what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think right now. I'm just damn cold. It's always been like a flavor just to have, like, oh, I got this Black girl. You know, I had sex with this Black man. You know, we have never been able to own our sexuality in the sense of being free with it without being judged. And erotica has always been a white genre, but you have people that have been doing eroticism that are Black for a long, long ass time. You know, what's her name that danced with the bananas? In France.
Josephine Baker.
Josephine Baker.
Joseph.
Josephine Baker was eroticism point blank, you know, and she owned it. Dorothy Dandridge, they owned it, you know, but in erotica writing, we're just an afterthought. You can't have a Black woman owning her sexuality too strong because then she's too aggressive. You can't have a Black man that loves to please a Black woman because he placating to the Black women. So erotica has been not a Black thing, even with Zane, you know, but white authors have written it and made millions off of it. You know what I'm saying? And are well known for it. You have so many Black authors, indie authors that write erotica, and they can't even get a pinch of notice from anybody. And then when you talk about it, you're like, oh, damn, Black people write it besides Zane? What you mean? Eric, what you mean? So it's no fault of their own. It's just they just don't know.
I've heard of Sean. I've never read her work. My husband has mentioned her. So I thought she's nasty. That's not erotica. That's just nasty.
That's erotica.
But I'm coming into it feeling like erotica is like all of the rage, and everybody's doing erotica, and everybody's like, you know, we had what was the sister who did the losing sight, Tati
Richardson.
I thought that was, I thought everybody was doing erotica, and that, you know, was like, so I'm kind of surprised to hear you say that.
Yeah.
In my Ariane book list, I have a book called, I only opened it, it's called The Color of Kink, Black Women BDSM, and by Ariane Cruz. Have you read that? Oh, okay.
I'm kind of if when it comes to authors that write BDSM books, because a lot of times they give y'all a 50 Shades of Grey and not a full breakdown of BDSM. That might be a good one, but
this is nonfiction. It's a study. It's a academic, more of an academic book.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a difference between Black kink and white kink. And people don't understand that because generational trauma from slavery, who wants to be beat with chains and whips and made to fucking sit down and beg and shit by a white person? So there's a difference. There's limits to Black kink, whereas other kinks, they go all the way, you know? So that's why I like Black eroticism, because it's understood. You have Cassandra Charles. She writes the Joyride, Jamie Reynolds Chronicles, and it's all Black BDSM. So yeah.
I'm gonna connect you. I want to, if it's okay, I'm gonna ask your permission. My mom, who is 76, started working on a book called Whips, Chains, and Ancestral Trauma, nonfiction, and it's set in Costa Rica, and a Black woman kind of stumbles on these white men who will pay her to beat them, and she doesn't really know anything about the whole world. So she's kind of like.
You said nonfiction.
Oh, right. It's fiction. It's fiction. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say nonfiction.
Like, wait a minute, Miss Ivy.
Y'all got your life. But anyway, you know, it might be interesting for her to have a conversation with you just about your experiences and your perspective as part of her research. I don't know where she is and how it's moving along, but I think another demographic that's drastically overlooked. I'm 50. I think I turned 54. Right, I turned 54 because I'm like, oh, y'all got it back twisted. I'm supposed to be 45, but I turned 54. So I feel like it's hard to see sometimes myself in books, but I also notice that a lot of times when I'm thinking about myself growing and developing and in the future, I'm looking for people who are 20 or 30 years ahead of me. So I want to see people who are, you know, 70, 80, 90 in books, having sex, falling in love, doing whatever, because I gotta have a pathway that I'm walking, so
Right.
but it's difficult to kind of see certain things. So I think that's definitely an area that's underrepresented.
I see it more in like paranormal, like Solar Black. She has a White Shoes paranormal, with orcs. They basically like black men, but they're just orcs with locks. But the women are in their 40s to 60s. So yeah, none of her characters are below 40. So.
Okay. One thing you talked about was as a Black lit influencer, there was some erasure happening or attempted. Can you talk about that some?
Well, you got Black Book Talk and then you got Book Talk. Book Talk is for the white side, Black Book Talk is for the black side. So when certain Black creators started to get popular on Black Book Talk, we did not get the same opportunities as White Book Talk, or we get lowball for the same opportunities, where one on Book Talk they might get they'll say, if you make this video we'll give you $20,000. Us, if you make this video we'll give you $100, maybe 200 if you're lucky.
Oh wow.
So, and then it was a situation where it was a Black creative that was on Book Talk, and she wound up being on the Kelly Clarkson show. She called herself the queen of Book Talk, and she only reads white books. And she told the Black Book Talk community, I would never read a Black book because why would I? And basically down the Black books. This woman had got over like millions of followers, of white followers, mind you. And she was always constantly down in Black books. She had gotten into a scandal about sexual harassing a hockey player and his wife and all type of stuff. But she downed us so much. But when she got in trouble, it was Black creators. It was all of us, not just her. It was all of us. But when she was up, it's just her. So we don't see the success unless we read white books. So it had got to a point that even white creators start coming over to Black Book Talk and taking the content we were doing, how we were doing it, and putting it on Book Talk. And they were getting followers and deals, and we're like, what the fuck? And it got hard, to the point a lot of people stopped doing content. They didn't want to do it no more.
So just the same old story.
Same old story, different part.
Story, same shit, different day. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They got a recipe. If that stuff ain't broke, don't fix it. And they keep, it's the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah.
So, but it is difficult. It is challenging to stay up sometimes, with all of the stuff that's going on, or just like understanding some aspects of the world. It'll have you feel, or the world we currently live in, it'll have you feel in a certain way. But that's part of, like, I feel like the power of the Black pen, because at least in the worlds that we write, I'm like, now, and sometimes I get mad because I'm like, it's a lot that we can't do, but in our worlds we can make it how we want it. So I get pissed when the worlds don't be the way I want it, but that's just because I want them to be how I want them. Like, I want to escape into some worlds that make some sense and have some justice, and where stuff is balanced in a certain way. But as artists, we all doing what we do. And also as Black artists, in the context of the system of white supremacy, a lot of us just be doing whatever we can as creators, as whatever, to try to get, mass attention. You know what I mean? Because that proximity helps us to succeed in their system. So
I say all the time, I don't want to be Black famous. That's not my goal. I want to be famous because I want to be in the room with the people who made them famous so I can take their jobs. I don't want them in charge anymore. I want, just like you watch Black creatives, I'm gonna watch you and then I'm gonna take your job and put you in the back burner and then bring my people into this situation.
Girl, that sounds like a book I want to read. I want to read it right now.
But that's my, because a lot of times, like, when people see my podcast, they might see a white person on there because I do have allies that come on, but I'm gonna question you as such. I don't hold back and I say what I need to say, but I have white people on there and I ask those questions. So where's the Black authors are on your tour? Where's the POC authors that are on your tour? Why we just see your publishing house pushing you? Are you out here talking to your publishing house, helping them? Mm-hmm.
So you feel like that's part of your mission to question and to challenge what you consider to be allies.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's gonna get it. Everybody's gonna get it. Ain't nobody safe.
So the storm. Ain't nobody safe from the storm. So where does this name Storm come from?
My bike club.
Oh, bike club.
It's not the full name. It's just part of the name. But yeah.
You should be in the club to know the full name, huh?
It's Chaotic Storm.
Oh, okay. Chaotic Storm. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying there are many sides to Storm. We got
it's good. She's a good character. It's a lot of haters there, and it's a lot of little. We can do good
stuff.
You know what? I had 3 authors write me in their book, and they were like, hit me up like, "Yo, I wrote a story about you. I was listening to your podcast or I was listening to your live, and guess what? You're the main character." What the fuck?
So much meat there, girl. It's so much meat.
Right. All the layers. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the one question I had left was, is there anything that you really wanted to discuss or wanted to say that we didn't ask you or you didn't get a chance to say?
Honestly, I feel like there's not enough opportunities for Black voices to be heard on bigger scale places. I just learned about the whole bookstore recording store thing that indie bookstore doesn't have the privilege to record their sales with the US Times bestselling list or the New York best, and that the traditional publishers won't send their Black authors to indie stores because of that. And I think that, honestly, and I mentioned this yesterday on the podcast, I wish there was an indie best-selling list. I know we don't want the box, but I want Black authors to succeed so bad, it's like I could taste it. Like, I want them to be on top because that's where they need to be. They're on top for us, but I want them on top for the masses. Like, is until I take my last breath, I will be doing this work because I want my kids, my grandkids, and their kids to be into literature so tough that it's just ingrained in them. I don't want our stories to be lost because at one point in time, we lost our stories.
Right.
If the family wasn't passing it down, we lost the stories. I want the stories to continue. They're already trying to ban books. They're already trying to get rid of us in some type of way. I don't want the story to stop. So my passion will always lie in, I want the Black author to succeed. Male, female, they, them, I do not care. I want them to succeed. However it is, how that looks, or whatever I need to do that, I will do that. Because I always say, who gonna stop me?
Who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me? Okay, let me ask you one other question, because you have an interesting perspective. As independent authors, connecting with finding our audience is a challenge. So I'm curious if there's any perspective or anything you've seen, anything that you've observed that you think, oh, this is something that has worked really well for independent authors. I wish more indie authors knew this, or, this is something that I think people might want to consider trying to help them to connect with their audience.
I always say indie authors have the worst marketing platforms ever. Like, y'all be so busy with life and y'all forget that y'all wrote a book. I'm like, God damn. Y'all be like, oh, I wrote the book and dropped. Bye. Like, where are the marketing? So I always say y'all marketing is the problem. Like, and some people are still stuck on Facebook. They're still stuck in the Facebook world. It's time to evolve to other platforms. Instagram, TikTok, even now with Substack, the newsletters are free. You can give samples of your stories and have an email thing where you can send out to people, and then they can tell people, and they can tell people. Word of mouth still matters. Right. If you don't want to make videos, huh?
I just got into Substack. I'm still trying to figure out how it works.
I love Substack. Yeah, I write on there daily. A lot of authors, they don't have.
Wait. You write on Substack daily? Oh, girl, I was looking for some of yours to read. If I had known, I should have. Okay.
Yeah, Substack.
On Substack, I do like op-eds, like you will see in the newspapers, but I do it from a Black lens, a Black perspective about different topics within the literary world, or it might even be political, but it always ties in with literacy. So, yeah. I think authors need to tap into the readers. There are so many readers popping up with businesses for street teams, art team, promotional services, where it takes the pressure off of you guys. It's so many people that do book boxes, and they do book merch, and they do websites and stuff like that. The readers are tapping into their talents to help the authors, and the authors find these readers who they don't have to pay an arm and a leg. You have readers that have now editing services that are really good at it. And so it's y'all have the tools. It's just, y'all marketing is trash. I hate to say it.
You started off with the right thing. People have so much going on that, trying to write is a whole job in and of itself. But then trying to be a marketer, that's a whole nother job.
But then some authors will come and be like, ain't nobody buying my books. When did you come out with the book? Oh, it was a month ago. When did you post about it? Oh, I posted once when it was released. How the hell am I supposed to know that? How does that even work? So that is what I'm talking about. I get life be laughing, but it's options though. If you have someone who's doing it for you, you don't have to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? It's
but that's not brainstorm.
Yes, it is. Some people, I have done videos. There's some of us who do videos. I don't get paid to do them. I just enjoy doing them. I'll do a video. Like today, I did a video for author Darie McCoy. The other day, I did one for Dee Williams. He's a fantasy author. I did one for E. Bowser. I've done videos like, oh, new release, or this is coming, or that. I'm not getting paid for that. But the relationship with readers and authors really does help. you know, because some of us, we just do it for free. And then some, you have to pay them when it's more detailed. You know what I'm saying? When you want to do a whole campaign, those you have to pay for. But some of us, we are out here just doing the videos. Hey, we talking about it on lives. And that's just the relationship between readers and authors, even new authors. I've been had new authors who books have not came out yet, but they done told me about the book, and I'm like, shit, I'm excited. So I done made visuals about books that haven't even been fully finished yet, you know. So we're out here. It's just, you know, y'all gotta help us.
And the other thing too, just like when you talk about introverts, like, you know, for the boozy, you know, some people are like, for example, when I look at Ayoka, when I look at your, like, I'm like, if Ayoka ain't gonna do nothing else, she about to tell you she got a book out. She is not an undercover author. You know, every day she be like, you know, she be on it. It's inspirational.
Yeah.
But some people are, I'm not, you know, it's so many, it's challenging, but I try to support writers, authors the best way I can. So, and I understand that, you know, as readers, we can have a passion for somebody's work and be like a real advocate for them if you can connect with those people.
I've had authors say, look, Storm, I'm very introverted, and I'm going to tell you the advice that I gave them. The first question I asked, you wrote a book. Yeah. You getting paid for that book, right? You put money into that book, and now you are looking for a return on what you wrote. Yeah. So it's a job. I guess you could say that. So being introvert has nothing to do with it because that's your job. So to make your job be successful, you got to put yourself out there. So when you tell me you introverted, I hear you, I see you, I don't claim it. Keep it moving. Do your job.
Do your effing job. Do your job. Do your job.
Because I'm an introvert, but I'm doing the things.
Yeah, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I applaud you.
Yeah, I understand as a reader because I'm an avid reader, and when I read books that I love, I'm vocal about it. You know, everybody isn't that way though. And so when I read, especially other indie authors, I'm going to big up them and post and all the things and repost their content. But unfortunately, everybody doesn't do that. I don't know what that's about, but I want, as an indie author or author period, I want to see my brethren and sisters succeed. So in my little corner of the world, I do all the things. Somebody say, "Oh, can you?" Yes, I'm doing it. But you know, I know for a fact that more of us need to be that way. There are not enough of us that do that.
And well, let's extend that invitation now for everybody who's listening, or, you know, let's all do something in our little corner of the world to support independent Black authors, to pump up independent Black authors. And like, you know, I have I'm stationary now. I have my series going that's promoting Love Soiree coming soon. My little audio series. I'm gonna get back to that so that people who want to pump it up have something. If they want to find an author to pump up who hasn't been published in fiction yet, you can go ahead and pump that up. But let's because one of the things I know, like, for example, when Iyapo started publishing and the importance of reviews, and, you know, a lot of times I read and so now I've made it a point to, even if it's just a little review, if I read it, I'm going to write something about it, and I'm going to share it with everybody.
And I've done the same thing. I didn't used to write reviews.
Right.
I didn't understand how important it was for authors. So now, I mean, I review everything. I'm writing a review. I'm posting about it, all that. But reviews specifically, I'm on Goodreads like a crazy person writing my reviews for every book that I read because I understand how important that is.
Yeah, I truly get it. I truly get it. The reviews do matter. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just do the stars. That's it, and they don't do the reviews.
They only
do but I think people are more getting back into writing reviews because a lot of authors are saying, hey, I need you to write an actual review, please. So I think a lot of people are getting back into that.
I just had a thought. I'm going to do a post about how to write a review, because that's what I hear people talk about too. They don't know what to write. So I'm going to do I'm going to do a post about that.
You could tell them to start by writing a review for Love at Second Sight. Buy the book and read it, and you can practice on Love at Second Sight.
But listen, I just heard you when you were speaking. Our next well, not the very next one, but we're going to do an episode and we're going to be talking about Love Soiree. That's what we're doing. We're talking about Angela's upcoming debut. We're going to have an episode about Love Soiree. Let's put it on the calendar.
Let me tell you what happened at my house over the last couple weeks, Storm. I got back and this man done wrote a book. Between, I think it's been with less than a month, he got a whole book out and he was just on it. Like the fever was on him. And I'm like, I should be writing on Love Soiree, but I mean, it's interesting and inspirational to watch it, but I'm kind of like,
her husband is a writing machine.
Lord.
I mean, the way he comes up with ideas and he just banged that story out. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's so on it. It's very interesting and inspirational. But I like to believe that y'all are all, I'm being influenced. I'm being molded. It may seem, subtle, but one day it's just going to break out and I'm going to be, okay. And one other thing I want to say, Storm, I started listening to you. I was telling you before we started on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I listened to Monique Fisher because I know her. Mm-hmm. And then I listened to Christina C. Jones because I've read a couple of her pieces and I really like them. And I wanted to listen to a man next. But in the same way that I listen to the Black Romance Writers podcast, and I think that people should listen to Writing While Black, your podcast is about to be in my ear because I really enjoyed it. It's a really good space. It's a really good energy. It's really interesting and inspirational, and very real. And so thank you for your work. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate your passion and your love.
Yes, thank you for supporting Black authors.
Always.
We need it. We need it.
Always. This is my love letter to y'all.
Right on. Oh, that's Angela's line. My bad.
He was like, we out. I'm like, I can't even get my pen out. I'm trying to catch up. So I think that's it. For me, is there anything Ayoka or Storm anything else before we wrap up?
No, ma'am.
All right. Keep being you unapologetically. Like it, love it, just be it and do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. So, right on. Right on.
I love that. Go ahead.
Reading, learning, growing, creating, while building, living, thinking, healing, loving, building, writing while black.